Breaking news tonight, an active shooter incident in Idaho. Police confirming the shooting happened near an In-N-Out burger restaurant. The latest information coming into our newsroom. Also tonight, crews working around the clock battling wildfires across the West. Take a look at this dash cam video showing the flames just off the road in California. Fire alerts in effect in multiple states, plus millions on alert for dangerous heat. We're tracking it all. Savannah Guthrie's new message to the public after 2 ransom notes were released in connection to her mother's kidnapping 6 months ago today. The new warnings tonight for Americans in the Middle East as the U.S. and Iran threaten to escalate the war. Growing questions about the future of Gaza after a breakthrough deal to get Hamas to disarm. We take you inside Gaza for a closer look at what life is like for Palestinians there. Security measures ramping up amid Spain's migrant crisis. This floating barrier quickly installed after tens of thousands rushed in from Morocco. The new questions about Europe's open border system. President Trump pushing back on 2 senators from his own party, blocking his pick for attorney general. And there's good news tonight about this special moment at the ballpark and the victory lap this young man will never forget.
This is NBC Nightly News with Jose Diaz-Balart.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Idaho, with police telling NBC News there are fatalities in a shooting incident outside an In-N-Out burger restaurant. It happened in the town of Twin Falls, Idaho, about 2 hours away from Boise. Dramatic new video appearing to show a man holding an assault-type weapon near a car outside the building. This incident occurring just moments before we came on the air. Our Valerie Castro is digging into this story for us. Valerie, what's the latest?
Jose, tonight, the spokesperson for the Twin Falls Police Department tells NBC News 3 people are dead and at least 2 others are injured. He also tells us there is currently no search for a suspect, but it is unclear if a suspect is among the dead. This all took place in the area of an In-N-Out restaurant, which announced it will remain closed for the rest of the day. Police issued public safety announcements shortly after this all happened, asking people to stay away from the area. Videos posted to social media show people running through parking lots and screaming. Other video appears to show a man with a firearm. We also have heard audio from emergency dispatchers saying that they are being inundated with 911 calls and hearing, quote, reports of multiple people down. Again, tonight, police confirming at least 3 people are dead and at least 2 are injured. Jose?
Valerie Castro, thank you very much. Also tonight, we're tracking the dangerous heat and wildfire threats impacting millions of people across the country. Ryan Chandler reports.
Tonight, the race to contain the flames as wildfires break out across the West. In California, crews battling this blaze in the Oakland Hills. And another north of San Francisco in Sonoma County, the Woodside Fire, fighting it through the night this week. A highway patrol dash camera showing the flames just off this roadway, sparks flying off the vehicle's windshield. Parts of 8 states facing significant fire danger, with areas in Washington and Oregon dealing with extremely critical risk, the highest threat level.
Any fire that is able to start will not only grow very quickly, but it could become out of control and life-threatening very, very quickly.
Washington's governor now declaring a statewide wildfire emergency. In Oregon, the Roe Creek Complex fire is massive. Nearly 500 square miles burned so far. And this video showing a so-called smoke-nado at the Coleman Creek fire. And in Boise, Idaho, high temperatures are the danger. Multiple heat-related incidents at this banana ball game Friday night. 7 people rushed to the hospital. This as more than 50 million are under heat alerts across the country. Southern Californians among those on alert. Lifeguards there warning of dangers in the water as families flock to the beach.
Kind of hazardous conditions still, so our lifeguards are staffed up. They're still making lots of rescues and preventatives.
That's because Tropical Storm Genevieve is bringing a high risk of rip currents from Orange County to the Mexico border.
Ryan Chandler joins us now from Dallas. Ryan, how long is that heat supposed to last?
Well, Jose, some of those heat alerts will remain active through at least Monday night. In cities like Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Denver, we'll see high temperatures significantly above normal. Jose?
Ryan Chandler in Dallas, thank you. Today marks 6 months since Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, and tonight Savannah has a new plea to the public after authorities released those 2 ransom notes connected to the case. Camila Bernal reports.
6 months after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, a heartbreaking message from her daughter Savannah, who says she and her family have lived every moment, every breath, and every heartbeat in agony and despair ever since, and renewing a call for help in the case. We are desperate. We need someone to come forward. Someone knows something. Someone suspects something. Someone recognizes the writing in the ransom demand notes. The notes, potentially from a kidnapper and sent to local news outlets at the time of Nancy's disappearance, were released by the Sheriff's Department Friday. The first note demanded up to $6 million. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed. Days later, a second note saying, "We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now."
The style of the writing is might jog somebody to kind of think about who would have written that.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano saying investigators don't see this as a cold case, telling NBC News,
"We have some of the brightest minds in the world on this. Our DNA is being analyzed not by our lab or the FBI lab, but by several labs around this country."
The Guthrie family still offering a reward. "We will never stop looking for answers, and we will never stop looking for the light," Savannah said.
I think we're going to get to some resolution here. I just wish I could say it's going to happen tomorrow or next week.
Camila Bernal, NBC News.
And if you have any information in the Nancy Guthrie case, please call the FBI tip line, 1-800-CALL-FBI. The Guthrie family is also offering a $1 million reward for information. And now to Spain, where officials are ramping up security after tens of thousands of migrants crossed into an enclave on the border with Morocco. Matt Bradley reports.
Tonight, Spain is building a wall, a floating inflatable barrier about 1,600 feet long and 3 feet deep. It's going up along the maritime borders of the Spanish enclave of Ceuta in northern Africa, Europe's only border with Africa. It's to prevent scenes like this one 2 days ago, when more than 60,000 migrants swam over the town's sea border from Morocco and climbed fences. Perilous journeys, Spanish officials said, left at least 86 migrants dead, with Ceuta digging new graves to bury them. Of those who made it, the vast majority have since been sent back.
Ceuta no ha logrado la normalidad.
Ceuta hasn't returned to normal, said the head of the town's local government. There are still several thousand people in Ceuta who must be returned. Most were young men from Morocco, but some, like Mujahid Ahmed, came from as far away as war-torn Sudan.
I prefer to die here than to go back step.
On Friday, President Donald Trump warned the same crisis could happen in the States.
It looks like an invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people. And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected, except worse.
For now, political shockwaves from this crisis are still being felt.
Matt Bradley joins us now from London. And Matt, do we know why this crisis happened now?
Well, it's not entirely clear, Jose, but some of the migrants said that they had heard through social media that the border was open. And now 22 leaders of the European Union are asking for an emergency meeting to discuss the crisis. Jose?
Matt Bradley, thank you. The battle over President Trump's attorney general pick is heating up tonight, with the president now taking on 2 senators from his own party who are blocking the nomination. Julie Sirkin has the latest.
Tonight, the battle between President Trump and 2 Senate Republicans over his pick to be the nation's top law enforcement official is entering its next phase. Trump continuing to double down on his demand that his $1.8 billion taxpayer-backed anti-weaponization fund is necessary and that Congress pass a bill to make it official. But in order to get Todd Blanche confirmed as Attorney General, Trump has to drop it because moments after his threats on Truth Social, Senator Tom Tillis, one of those key votes, responded. calling out Trump's reversal on the issue and his insistence on a, quote, payout pot for punks, saying Blanche won't be confirmed even though he's qualified.
Without objection, so ordered.
Tuesday is when it's take two for Blanche, the Senate Judiciary Committee rescheduling his confirmation vote for that day. The acting attorney general assuring both Cornyn and Tillis the fund is dead, but they want to see it in writing.
Well, it is dead, but, I wish it weren't.
Trump also suggesting the two Republicans are standing in the way because he didn't endorse them, and both lost their primaries because of it.
I think that's a convenient but erroneous excuse.
It's the president's latest duel with members of his party on Capitol Hill. Trump also furious with Senate Majority Leader John Thune for not passing his Save America Act. Despite the Republican leader's insistence, there aren't enough votes to make it happen.
And Julie Sirkin joins us now from Bridgewater, New Jersey. She is traveling with the president. And Julie, the president appears to be going after his longtime ally and U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro. Why is that?
Yeah, the president is angry at her, Jose, for dropping the case against two people accused of vandalizing the reflecting pool. You see his post there. But prosecutors say new evidence shows a botched installation job was to blame instead. But the administration tonight not ending their course. Jose?
Julie Sirkin in New Jersey, thank you. And don't miss Chris and Welker's big lineup on Meet the Press tomorrow morning, right here on NBC. Tonight, there are growing questions about the future of another region in the Middle East devastated by war, Gaza. President Trump announcing a potential breakthrough deal with Hamas this week. But for people living in the enclave, peace cannot come soon enough. Keir Simmons reports.
For the children of Gaza, hopes are fading again tonight. Like 7-year-old Aya, sobbing beside her 10-year-old brother's body. This was her seconds after he was killed by an Israeli missile in June. My brother, she screams. He was bleeding, she says, talking to NBC News inside Gaza last month. This week, the Trump administration announced a breakthrough, Hamas saying it will disarm. Already tonight, that is in question. The group says Israel must withdraw from the enclave. Israel not commenting officially tonight, but strikes on Gaza continuing this weekend. A renowned Palestinian doctor telling me before the latest dashed hopes Trump's Gaza board of peace is failing.
You have a board of peace, but no peace.
For these sisters, it's too late. My loves, their father says. He saw an Apache helicopter firing. Why, he asks. Now the family look back at pictures and pack away their school things. A recent UN report accused Israel of deliberately targeting children, a claim Israel utterly rejects. But more than 20,000 children have been killed since October 7th.
The situation is miserable. If we are talking about the children in general, among this war, they suffered a lot.
Children like Aya, facing loss and lack of food and medicine, and no end in sight. Keir Simmons, NBC News.
Still ahead tonight, the urgent new warning for Americans in the Middle East as the U.S. and Iran threaten to escalate the war. Plus, what we're learning about a deadly tourist plane crash in Peru. Next. We are back with an urgent warning for Americans living in countries throughout the Middle East. U.S. embassies in at least 10 countries are saying Americans should stay alert and be ready to leave in case the war with Iran escalates. It comes after President Trump vowed to hit Iran very hard as the U.S. and Iran have threatened to increase military activity. Also tonight, a tourist aircraft crashed in Peru today, killing 13 people on board. You can see the smoke rising from the wreckage. The plane went down near the Nazca Lines, a popular archaeological site. The accident happened one day after tourist flights started again after a pause due to strong winds. And we are remembering actor Vincent Pastore, who died at his home, according to his longtime manager. Pastore was well known for playing mobsters in films like Goodfellas and Carlito's Way, and on TV, most notably for his role in The Sopranos. He was 80 years old. And when we come back, there's good news tonight about this special moment this young man will always remember. There's good news tonight. So often the good news doesn't get as much attention as the bad. So every Saturday we highlight the many people who spread joy and love. And these are just some of those stories this week.
Now this is a ride to remember.
Welcome to the Tour de Steve.
That's Steve Rystrom with his family in Chico, California. And they know he's a Tour de France fan. So for his 75th birthday, they brought the big race a little closer to home. A ride through the places and with the people he loves most.
What I'll remember more than anything is just how honored and loved I felt.
Oh, yay!
Come here. For Emma Kessler, a secret months in the making finally revealed.
What? Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. You're lying. No. No, you're lying. Are you doing it really?
Emma has been training to run a half marathon, and her one request, to have her boyfriend Jason Burns by her side.
Are you doing it really?
So in his spare time, Jason trained without her knowing. And then he finally got to tell her she's not running alone.
I wouldn't think that somebody would do that for me. I'm not alone in this. I feel so much better.
In Milton, Florida, Shelley Long finally meeting the hero who saved her life. Megan Thomas stepped up to donate her bone marrow, bonding the two forever.
I now have a sister that has the same blood as me.
The women even getting matching tattoos to mark the day they went from strangers to family.
We were meant to be together, and I think God ordained that, and He placed this woman in my life that will be a lifelong friend.
And just listen to that crowd. That applause, all for 15-year-old Evan Lawler throwing the first pitch at the Cleveland Guardians game. But this isn't his first time on the mound. A year ago, Evan rang the bell at the end of his cancer treatment. And then he celebrated with the Guardians.
That was perfect. What are you doing?
But this year, he's back at the ballpark.
Thank you. Thank you. That was cool. Cool to see.
Reuniting with the players to mark just how far he's come.
Have you been surprised by so much love and support by so many people who really don't know you personally, but feel a certain bond with you?
There were definitely so many people that I would never expect, like even them to talk to me in person, that are supporting me, praying for me, and always there.
And for Evan's mom, Megan, that support has meant the world.
What do you think the bigger message is here?
The way you see humanity step up in a situation like this is just really incredible, and we're so very grateful for all of that.
And that's NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Hallie Jackson will be here tomorrow night. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. Thank you for the privilege of your time, and good night.
Get breaking news from Washington and expert insights with the NBC News app.
Our series, The Cost of Denial, where we investigate the challenges people face with insurance.
We bring clarity to the complicated issues shaping your world.
For the viewers at home, if they find themselves in that situation, what should they do?
NBC Nightly News with Tom Yalmas, reporting for America.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.